Hi, I'm Stephen from Kitchen Stories and I'm here today to show you how to make a fish and chips burger. Now this is a great burger. You can use any white fish you have, and what you end up with is a golden crispy beer batter with a steamed white fish inside. You can have it any time of year, any time of day, whenever you want a bit of comfort food. We're going to start with the tartar sauce. That's very similar to a remoulade sauce you find across Europe, you know, something tangy, dilly, as we put in here. Have a bit of shallot in there as well. And then finely minced gherkin. And we've got some capers, a little hint of Dijon mustard, and then some creme fraiche, some mayo, and then a hint of lemon juice, and a little bit of the gherkin juice, and then just a little pinch of salt. And then I'm just going to mix it all together, dead easy, takes 5 minutes, and just mix it until it all comes together a little bit. And that's done, and then you can just put it in the fridge until you're ready to use it. We'll start by adding the dry ingredients to the bowl. So here we have some flour, and then to the flour I'm going to add a bit of cornstarch, which just makes it a little bit lighter. Sometimes if it's just flour it can end up a bit leathery. Some baking powder, that will just help lighten the batter again. And finally some salt, no explanation needed there. And now I'll just mix it all up. So now I'm going to add the liquids. I'm going to start with a shot of vodka. Just helps lighten the batter because it's got quite a high alcohol content, it evaporates very quickly. Now I'm going to add the beer, gives it more bubbles, so it's a bit lighter, and of course you get that lovely beery, yeasty flavour. Now you don't really need to mix too much, because if you mix it too much it ends up going tough. Just going to mix until it's all incorporated. So this is a fairly traditional batter that you use for fish and chips. But it also can be used for anything really, vegetables, whatever you want, whatever you can get, you can use for this batter. And then once that's done, you can just leave it in the fridge for half an hour until you're ready to use it. I've got some frozen peas here, I've been steaming for about 4 minutes. I'm just going to take them off the heat, add some butter, and add some finely chopped mint, a little pinch of salt, and finally some lemon juice. Now mushy peas, they sound a bit funny, a bit like baby food, but they're actually pretty much a staple when eating fish and chips in the UK. It's pretty much like mashing mashed potato. Though I don't like to mash them too much because it's quite satisfying when you burst a whole pea when you bite into them. So now you can just put those to one side, and as they cool they'll thicken up a little bit so it's easier to spread on the burger. What I've got is just some very thinly sliced potato. You can do this with a knife or a mandolin. Now just to clarify, when you have fish and chips, normally what you have is fish and fries. Today I've actually opted for what we would call crisps in the UK. So because I prepped these in advance, I've just had the potatoes soaking in water just so they don't brown, and you can just leave them until you're ready to use them. Now I'm just going to dry the slices of potato. Once they are thoroughly dry, I'm going to deep fry them at 180 degrees for 2 minutes or so until they're just starting to brown a little bit and starting to crisp up. And now it's time to fry the fish. I've just got the rapeseed oil heating up here. I'm going to heat up to, again, 180 degrees. I like to use a thermometer just because it's much more precise than using a wooden spoon or, you know, a breadcrumb or something. Always check the labels when you're buying. Just check that it's from a sustainable source. You can see the little blue MSC label on it. This is just seasoned flour here, a little bit of salt and pepper. Just make sure everything is covered. And everything moves pretty quickly from this point, so just gotta stay concentrated. What I like to do is just grab the fish by the fin and then just try and get an even covering batter. You're gonna get a bit messy, don't worry about that. And then gently place it in. And I'm gonna wait for a minute now until I put the other piece in, just so the oil comes back up to temperature again. I like to twist the pot when I first put something in to fry, so it stops it sticking on the bottom and stops the pieces sticking together. And just shake off any excess and gently lay it in. I'm just going to flip the first piece now. It browns evenly. The first piece has been in for about 4 minutes. I'm just going to take it out now and put it on some kitchen paper to drain. And I'm just going to dab the top with the paper as well, just to make sure I get all of that oil off. Now I'm just going to take the second piece out. It's been in for about 4 minutes. And then again, I'm just going to dry the top as well to get all that oil off. I like to be quite diligent when I'm drying the fish, because if you leave the oil on, then it will quickly become soggy. The oil giveth the crisp, and the oil taketh the crisp away. Voila. Now it's time for the really fun part. Time to stack the burger. I'm going to start with the very minty, lemony, mushy peas. Just going to spread those on the bottom. And again, don't worry if it gets a bit messy. It's going to be everywhere. Just have a shower afterwards. Now I'm going to put on some thinly sliced radish. I like a lot of radish, so. And then here I've got some finely shredded iceberg lettuce. Always adds a nice bit of crunch and freshness to the burger. Now time for the fish. Don't worry if you have a bit hanging out the edge. You can just nibble that bit first. So now time for that very dilly, capery, gherkiny tartar sauce. And then for that final potatoey crunch, time for the chips. Again, just try and stack them as high as you want. There we go. And then just to tuck them in. There you go. And Bob's your uncle. I'm gonna try and stuff it in now. You're gonna have to crush it a little bit, otherwise you'll never fit. Oh, there you go. The first casualties. God save the Queen. I need a cold shower.